Are you rolling? Are we rolling right away? Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna go really well, I swear. All right, let's go. This doesn't happen overnight. A lot of preparation to get like this. What made me decide to write in this space? I would say I've always been fascinated in the personal growth space. It was fun. It was interesting to me. It's just that now I've finally had a story worth telling, or felt like I did. I don't have the kind of talent that's just gonna kick down doors for me overnight. My skill set is, what does nobody feel like doing? Do that. It's not fun. It's not glamorous. Over and over. And then sometime around month 7 or 8, a door will open for me. And I feel like that's a story with a lot of us. I guess that's the story with life, right? Whoever outlasts everybody, whoever wants it the most, and then eventually, you get your shot. So I chose the title, The Pain You Choose, because it was fundamentally how I define discipline, right? It's not a new concept. I mean, everything sucks. The whole choose your hard concept. It sucks being insecure on the beach, but it also sucks to have to diet. It sucks saving money, but it also sucks to not have money for an emergency. Freedom comes from the ability to choose your hard despite how uncomfortable it is. And the more you can lean into that discomfort, it starts to open doors for you, and then it's not hard anymore. And it creates another option and another level and another aspect to your life, and expands the scope of things that really bring you joy and make you excited. That's the relationship between choosing pain, enduring the hard stuff. It's not hard anymore, and then you have a lot more options. And essentially, isn't that what freedom is? Just having a lot of options? I love this question whenever anybody asks me about the connection between my writing, like writing books like this, and music, because it seems completely unrelated. When I would sit down and write music, I would just keep recycling my autobiography. So when I'm telling the story of my life when I'm 19 to 22, that story was best told with a boombox and raps and lyrics that my parents probably wouldn't want to hear, right? And then the story of my life in my 20s and 30s with more polished music, the adventures of a 20-something-year-old. So as I got to my late 30s, that story was best told through the anecdotal elements where I could be reflective of the things that I've been through and packaged in something that other people can read and hopefully get something out of. My take on these concepts is different because there really is a memoir element to the book, right? I'm writing from the things that I experienced, and so I present myself as a flawed person, as somebody still trying to figure out like you are. I remember when I was young, I would watch VH1 Behind the Music, and you would see these artists I love selling out stadiums, and I'm like, that's awesome. But I kind of want to see a documentary about the guy that's just selling out the 200-seaters. So I think it's a unique opportunity to grow side by side with my readers. And if you get something out of it, or if I inspire you, great. But like, I'm trying to figure it out like you are.
So what makes you qualified to speak on this content?
What makes me qualified? Well, first, thanks for keeping me honest. It feels like everybody's a coach now. Everybody's the authority on everything. They read an article and now they're coaching it. Let me tell you, it would have been 10 times easier to just cut and paste phrases and elements and lines from other billionaires. I say go buy their books. I only speak to the level that I've achieved, right? If you look at my life and you appreciate the way that I move, either the way I handle my relationships, my business, you see that it's grown. This is just the mindset that fueled those achievements, nothing more, right? The book is what I think. That's my thought process. They're not independent of each other. I want people to really feel like my actions correlate with my beliefs. Like you don't have one without the other. It all has to line up. There has to be alignment there. When I first sat down to write a book, the avatar for this book was my younger self, right? Funny story is, when I was doing music, I was listening to some of my old songs, and I have like lines where I'm talking about being past my prime or over the hill. And then you look at the date on the album and it's like 2008. So even then I thought it was already too late for me, right? Like I was literally singing about it. I feel like a lot of people want this microwave version of success, right? And they want it to happen overnight for them. And when it doesn't, they get discouraged. And you watch everything springing up around you. You're watching your friends get houses. You're watching their families spring up. And you're like, I guess that's it for me. I mean, it's too late for anything. And I want people to realize that a year and a half, 2 years of concentrated work, choosing what you're trying to do and just leaning hard into that pain and that ag of trying to do it can change your life. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but I swear, you trade those 3 years of hard work to improve the rest of your life, you'll thank yourself. I'm still growing. I'm still trying to figure it out like you are. I'll be the first one to admit that I do not have all the answers, but I think that this book and this season of life gives me a really unique opportunity to actually grow with my readers. And hell, we can figure it out together. What do I really want people to gain from this book? I want people to gain clarity. I want them to decide, what do I really want to do? What's been holding me back? And just lean hard into what really makes you excited. Take a chance, approach the girl, punch the bully in the face, apply for that job you thought you were underqualified for. You really can do that. And if somebody picks up this book, do something they never thought they could, I mean, nothing would make me happier.
Tell me a little bit about your writing process.
My writing process, I actually don't get to talk about this that much. Believe it or not, drafting, right? When I first draft something, it's actually very painful. I get obsessed with the piece until I actually write the end. Like I think about it while I'm eating. I wake up sleeping. I wake up in the middle of the night and feel like I have to like scribble ideas. It really is painful. And then you get to the end, and it really is unreadable too. So not only did this thing, were you obsessed with this thing for the last 3 or 4 months, but now it's not good. And then the editing starts, and you polish it, and you really start to refine those ideas. But you've also kept the emotion because you just wrote from this like painful place of wanting to get this idea out. So you keep the emotion, you start polishing the ideas and refining them until it's something readable. And then for me, somewhere around the second or third draft, it becomes a living thing. And then you have to distance yourself from it a little bit so you can actually read it from the perspective of a reader. And then you're like, this is actually good. This can actually sit on a shelf somewhere next to some decent books. And it's the best feeling ever. I hope everybody gets a chance to write a book at some point. Yeah. My biggest influences as a writer, first person that comes to mind is Neil Strauss. I picked up The Game and then his follow-up book, The Truth, and I couldn't put it down. From then on, I read everything he wrote. I like Ryan Holiday. Obviously, the sentiments in this book, I pulled directly from Jocko. I mean, he talks about this a lot, comparing pain and discipline. My biggest influence as a person, which obviously affects my writing, it would probably be my father. Funny thing is, when I was growing up, I would always compare myself to my dad. It was almost obnoxious, right? I would measure my success to my dad's, right? I'd be like, so when did my dad get his first new car? Or when did my dad actually get his first? What was my dad's salary when he was 30? Not because we were in competition, but I held him in such high esteem. And if I was even, close to the person he was in any aspect of life, I was like, all right, you're good. So I would have to say my dad is like my biggest influence. The first time I felt like a writer, this whole process, it never really even dawned on me like, oh, you're gonna actually have like a book on Amazon. It just felt like another writing project. It almost felt like I was doing a project for school. Like it didn't dawn on me that like strangers are gonna like buy this and read this, right? So I got through the first draft, second draft, final proofreading, and then I got a call from Ava from the publishing company who I was working with to actually do some formatting. And she said, you don't have a dedications page. And I was like, oh, writers dedicate their books to people. And that was like the moment for me. I was like, yeah, you're a writer now. You have to go do that. What's the next step for me? Well, after I sell about 14 copies of this book to my friends and family, no, I'm playing. I would say, truthfully, if I would be the happiest person ever if I could just like write books for the next 25, 30 years. I love the process. I love the learning. I love interviewing people. This was such a great experience. If my book actually helps people and people get a kick out of it and the message resonates, I'll do this indefinitely. I'll put out a book a year. I mean, I like doing it that much. No brain. I had to dedicate it to the parents, mom and dad. Folks, if you've been listening this long, I really want to thank you for spending the time with me. You could have been doing anything else, so I do really appreciate it. My book, The Pain You Choose, is going to be available the first week of April, Amazon, Kindle, wherever you get your reading material. There should be an audio version available for you well in the beginning of the summer. Thanks again. I really appreciate it.